Okay. So I welcome you all to the second live session of the course titled Psychology of Emotion, Theory and Applications. Um, so this is second live session. So the purpose of live session, as you know, is for you to ask any question, any doubts. If you have anything to ask, any clarification, you are most welcome. Um, so we also floated one Google Sheet, Google form for asking questions. I think no one has asked any specific questions. Uh, so just to kind of summarize what are the things that we have still now covered. Uh, so this is a 12 module course. So that means it's a 12-week course, and we have covered till now quite a lot of modules. So if you look at the distribution of modules, the course is basically designed to understand initially some of the basic theories of emotions. So the first module was about the nature of emotions, how to define emotions, what are the basic theories of emotions, how we communicate emotions. So those basic fundamental aspects of emotions were discussed in the first module. We also discussed some of the research methods or ways of measuring emotion. In module 2, we discussed how culture and emotions are connected to each other, how culture shapes emotions. Are all emotions universal, or there are some culture specific emotions, or are there different meanings to different emotions based on the culture? So we have kind of elaborately discussed all these cultural dimensions in the context of emotions in the second module. Third module is about physiology of emotion, that also where we looked at that emotion. We cannot understand emotions just from the psychological perspective. Emotion has a very strong physiological component where through emotion influence, and there is a very strong the bodily impact of emotions. So whenever you experience any kind of emotion like anger and so on, so then there are changes in the body. So there are some of these basic emotions has a very strong physiological components to it. In module 4, we discussed some examples of self-conscious emotions. These are those emotions where these are connected to the concept of self. So the moment you become more self-conscious, then certain emotion like shame, guilt, embarrassment, this uh, comes into picture, and we discussed some of these emotions. Module 5, we discussed now positive emotions and happiness. This is the module where we discussed there are certain positive emotions, and happiness is one concept that is connected to positive emotions. We discussed how we can increase that, what are the problems in it, and what are the theories associated with positive emotions, and so on. Module 6 is about group emotions. That many times emotions are not individual. No? We share emotions with a group. Sometimes we experience emotions on behalf of a group, and emotions are contagious. That means they spread in a group from one person to another person. So like this, we have discussed various aspects. Module 7 was about cognitions and emotions, basically where we discussed how emotions and thought processes, attention, uh, thinking, and so on is connected to each other. So that is where we have elaborately discussed the relationship between various cognitions and emotions. Module 8 is about emotion-based disorder, where we discuss specific emotion-based disorder like depression, anxiety, and so on. The remaining modules are related to emotion regulation and emotional intelligence, and what are the applications of emotional intelligence. Now it's working. Okay. So there was one question few questions were there in the Q&A sections of the portal. So there, one of the question was related to how certain emotions related to system 1 and system 2, how they are connected to emotions. So system 1 and system 2, basically we're talking about there are different style of processing. One is system 1 and system 2. So these two systems are very different in terms of how we process information. System 1 is very automatic, intuitive, fast mode of thinking. when we very fast we take decisions and and think in certain situations. We don't too much analyze pros and cons and so on. Then it is called system one. It is very rapid, involuntary, and basically heuristic kind of thinking. So automatically mind jumps to certain conclusion and decision. Then we're using system one. System two is more analytical, slow mode of processing. You think pros and cons, engage in rational, effortful processing. Uh, so both system has their strength and problems. Like if you all the time use system one, obviously you may likely to make a lot of errors. System two has like it's more demanding time processing, and resource intensive kind of system. Uh, so this was basically introduced by Daniel Kahneman, where he talked about these two modes of system. Uh, Many times we use system one, sometimes we do system two in our thought processes. Uh, Many times under influence of certain emotions we are more likely to use system one, and sometimes under the influence of certain emotions we are more likely to use system two. It all depends on what type of emotion we're experiencing. So some emotion promotes system one kind of processing, some emotion promotes system two kind of processing. uh, for example, generally positive emotions lead to more of system one heuristic kind of thinking. We under positive emotions we take quick decisions, and sometimes uh, you know, we don't too much think about pros and cons and so on. Sometimes in anxious mode, actually promotes system two kind of more effortful, conscious kind of thinking. When people become anxious and anxiety kind of emotions they experienced. So different emotions sometimes can stimulate different modes of thinking processes. Sometimes negative emotions also, some negative emotions can affect thinking processing in a different ways. For example, when people are sad, they are more less likely to use stereotypes as compared to when somebody is angry. So people with anger, they're more likely to use stereotypes, which is a kind of heuristics. You will be more judged and biased towards people. But when sad people are more likely to process actually accurate information. So emotions can influence and trigger what kind of processing are done and so on. So it seems there is not any questions coming from the audience or participants. I'll wait for 1 more minute. If there are no questions, I'll leave. We'll have only one more last live session. That is what that will be your last opportunity to ask questions. So I'll wait for 1 more minute. If there are no questions, I'll just stop here. So it seems there are no more questions. You are free to ask questions through the portal also. There are Q&A section through Gmail. You can ask questions. We'll get back to you. If you have any questions, you can ask in the portal also. And we'll have probably one more live session. You all can join there also. Yeah. So with this, I stop here. Hoping to see you more participants in the next live session. Thank you.